Sparkle BS. This is going to be a difficult video for me to do for several reasons. I've already tried to film it once. I went on a 20-minute spree with talking and I realized I'm like, number one, this is TMI. Number two, it's too much information. Literally, and it's not just inappropriate information, which some of it is, but this is going to be hard to film as well because I have really bad brain fog. So there's a reason why I am filming this though. And I kind of went back and forth on it and I thought this might be an issue and it ended up being an issue. So I know I have a lot of new subscribers. I'm at 57,000 right now. I can't even imagine like how many people that is. So I just want to say thank you so much to everybody and welcome and thank you for coming on, and I really, really appreciate it. And some of this is actually, most of this, if you haven't watched all my videos, oh my god, I have over 300, I wouldn't fucking ask you to, but this is going to be some new information for you guys. And it might start to make sense with some things and some rumors you might hear about me. Anybody who's been with me from the first 10,000 or even 20,000 knows what I'm talking about, but this will be new for a lot of you guys, and it's something I've stopped talking about. But I'm chronically sick, and the scary part is I don't know exactly what's going on with it. I thought that I had it nailed down, and I think that there's more to it than what I realize. And the scary thing is I'm not insured, and I cannot get insured right now, and that is very, very difficult to go through. I know that I look like I have a poker face and it doesn't bother me, but my legs are just shaking right now, and I've gotten really good at hiding how I feel about this. Most of the time, you guys are not going to be able to tell that I am sick when I'm filming. I can hide it really well. There are tells that you will be able to see. Spaciness is one. Not being able to hold on to my train of thought, like if I'm in a live stream. There are different, what would be another one? Probably a glassy looking, like just a glassy look over my eyes and my face. That's me fighting brain fog. Stuttering, because it starts to affect my communication. So what happened? Let me give you a little backstory. For the last 4 years, is it 4? Since 2013, yeah, 4 years, a little over 4 years, I started getting sick. At first, it was heart issues, which was very, very scary. And I didn't know what was going on. And weakness that would go back and forth. And I think my lowest weight was about 103 pounds. I'm 5'2.5". It's 103 pounds. And from there I started to slowly gain weight, and I didn't know why. And I'm somebody that I've been really small. I know how to maintain my weight. I'll actually probably put up some pictures so you guys can see. That's been a very difficult part of this. In the last year, I went from probably about 110 pounds to 165. I think I'm like 165 right now. I've kind of stopped weighing myself because it's too depressing. So what's happened? Well, it started with heart issues, and that turned into, I just gotta breathe for a second. Ugh, I'm not feeling well. That turned into feeling like I am in a constant cold. Think of the worst flu and cold and stomach virus you've ever had in your whole life, and welcome to my world. That's how I live. The hardest part was the collapses, which started happening over the last probably two and a half years. I would just collapse. It almost feels like, I guess I would liken it to what probably people who have blood sugar issues or somebody with diabetes or pre-diabetic, those types of crashes. And it would happen when I was driving. I would almost pass out. Oh, I can't even think about it. It's really, really scary. It probably happened about 30 or 40, no, actually more than that, probably about 50 or 60 times. Probably more than that, actually, when I'm thinking, because I'm trying to get a time frame and I'm thinking over the last 2.5 years. No, I probably had at least 100 episodes of it over the last, because I was trying to think between this time and this time, I'm like, wait, no, and then there's this and this. They didn't all happen when I was driving, but I would say a good 20 or 30 of them did, because I did a lot of traveling. Happened on planes. It was really scary. And I haven't known what's going on. Extreme weakness to where I couldn't walk. Extreme pain that was causing weakness. Fevers that would last over a week. Diarrhea that caused the weight gain. For some people, they have diarrhea, they lose weight. Some people, they gain weight. I have a body, I come from 2 genetic lines on both sides of the family of bigger people. When something happens, the body's like, oh shit, fucking keep everything. Okay, you know, that's just what my body does. And I know this to be true because when I go through periods of time where I'm not having diarrhea and I'm not sick, my body does drop the weight. Being 103 pounds and coming from two families of genetic lines of big people, it was a struggle to always maintain my weight, but I was always able to because I was a performer. I did high levels of marketing. I had a dream life before I got sick. But I worked really hard to get there, and I've been through a lot of trials and tribulations and a lot of shit in my life, and I don't have much family. Being chronically ill and not having much family is very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. Sorry, I'm really anxious talking about this. I've talked about it before. It's not that I haven't talked about it, but when I started my channel, I wanted to talk about being sick and kind of catalog what was going on, and I wanted to try to find out what was going on and share it with everybody. I've since kind of stopped that because of a lot of the hate that I've received, and it's been very, very difficult. And I'm sitting here going, I don't know how much to share, because I know the other thing was people thought it was getting repetitive, and I didn't know how much to share or what to share. If there were new people watching, how do I educate them? So let me tell you what I think has been going on. Well, first let me back up a little bit. Almost a year ago, so roommate and I used to be an item. If you hear me talk about roommate, we used to be a couple. The only reason we broke up was because our lives went different paths. And that's it. It wasn't any malice or ill intention. We still always really cared about each other. But roommate had been through my sickness with me, and he knew it was getting worse, and he knew it was bad enough to where I was on my own. I was at the point where I was incapacitated and couldn't function. So he said, one day he said, I'm coming to get you. And that was, I'll be grateful for him doing that, because my guilt, my stubbornness would not have allowed him to help me. But honestly, I do have friends, but they are spread out throughout literally the country and the world because of the type of work that I did. And just everybody's in different places. And all my friends are going through stress where I know they can't help me, and that's okay. You know, that we all go through times like that. So he came to get me. It's been a little over a year since he came to get me, and granted, I am a lot better than what I was. I still get sick, and it still sucks. What we found out, and it was when I was and I won't go into the story right now, but I started piecing things together because this was a mystery illness. We could not figure out what it was. And it was from reading an article about breast implant sickness that's when it occurred to me. I read this phrase. I remember reading the phrase, any foreign object you can put in the body can reject, and it could cause devastating health consequences. And I thought, well, I'm glad I don't have anything foreign in my body. And then it hit me. I have an IUD. If you don't know what that is, it's an intrauterine device. I had the Paragard IUD. And I thought, well, it's non-hormonal, so because I remember talking to roommate about it. Roommate said, that sounds like the smartest thing I've heard since you've gotten sick. That could be it. And I said, yeah, but, and roommate said it could be messing with your hormones. I said, well, I don't know about that because it's supposed to be non-hormonal. The Paragard IUD is copper, like the element, the metal copper. And that's what creates a barrier for, it creates like a spermicide and different things. And I don't want to get into science right now, but long story short, I decided, you know what, I'm going to see if that's it. The other thing that had occurred to me is with the illness I had a lot of issues in my vaginal area. So here's some TMI. A lot of cramping for no reason. Lots and lots of pain. I mean, like, it was to the point where it was hard on my relationships because I got to where I hated sex. Because sex was constantly painful. Constantly. I started getting rashes and stuff. I thought I had an STD. I was convinced that I had something going on, but over 12 tests for herpes in 4 years, and we're talking cultures and, you know, looking at strands of the DNA, and nothing. They looked for any even dead strands of the DNA in my blood. Couldn't find anything. A couple doctors said it could be that something is causing what's mimicking herpes. And the couple doctors, the last doctor said, it doesn't look like herpes, but it does look like a rash. When I finally sat down and did the research, it all coincided with the IUD. People were the same thing, the same symptoms, down to hair loss, down to premature graying. If you guys see, I have these I think they're pretty. They're almost glittery strands in my hair that started when I got sick. Since I've stopped being sick, they've stopped sprouting up. That's a copper thing. So anyways, long story short, I made an appointment with Planned Parenthood as quickly as I could. I remember the day that I went in, it was very difficult because I got to the point, I was so sick I could barely walk. And it was really scary and it was really hard. And roommate had to take off work to go take me down there. He had to walk me in, and they were very nice. There wasn't any, I was scared there's gonna be a lot of pressure because I'd read a lot of horror stories of gynecologists, some that would refuse to take it out. I even tried to take it out with roommate. It didn't work. When I say roommate, I mean his research. And some people have been able to do it successfully. I encourage you, do not. Do not. You can have devastating health consequences by trying to take it out yourself. If there are parts of it that break off, it will wander up in your body, and then they have to find it and you have to do surgery, and a lot of times insurance doesn't cover it. I'm telling you right now, please do not try to take it out yourself. Go spend the money to go to Planned Parenthood, have them yank it out. It's like $100. And that's what I did. The moment that it came out, immediately I noticed pain in that area started to subside. I get emotional talking about it. Within the hour, my fever started to go away. The pain started to subside. And that's when I think I realized, holy shit, I think my body has been reacting to this thing. And the more research I did, most doctors will not even put in an IUD unless you've had a child because things haven't expanded. And not only have I not ever had a child, I'm pretty small down there. That's always, and I'm sorry, like that's an issue that I've had. That's why when I see women talk about how much they have a big dick, I'm like, how? Like that's terrifying because that's just not, and I'm 5'2". It's just, everything is small. So, sorry, now you've learned a lot more about me. I can't wait for the comments on this, but there's a reason I'm bringing this up. The reason is when I started my YouTube channel, God, this video is getting so long, I'm sorry. I wanted to chronicle my health stuff. At that point, I was pretty convinced after I had, in July gotten this removed that my IUD was causing my health issues. And I thought, well, maybe my body will magically bounce back. Lord, was I wrong. Because what I didn't realize is that it can give you copper poisoning. Now, there's a lot of back and forth on whether or not this is a thing. There's a lot of back and forth on the research about this, but there are thousands and tens of thousands of women that are having the exact same things, and they're coming back with having copper toxicity in test results like I did. Copper toxicity. And so I had to work really hard at detoxing the copper, but now I've had things like candida, which is a similar thing where when you detox, it's hell. Copper blows out of the fucking water. Copper absolutely blows out of the water. Copper is a horrifying thing to have to get out of your body because it can have devastating consequences when it comes out. It's similar with candida, but candida, I learned how to have a balance. So getting rid of it, depending on how high it is very dangerous. And that's when it got worse. The diarrhea got worse, the heart stuff got worse, but and in the first month, in first probably 3 months, I didn't know if I was getting better. And it just started to get worse for a while. And I was really, really scared. But I knew, I was like, okay, I think this is what it is. I did notice sweating helped, and sweating, that's part of the way you get rid of copper. It comes out in your blood and your excrement. Once I got my IUD removed, there was about a 8-month period where every menstrual cycle I had, it wasn't just the regular stuff, but it was, I am trying to not kill there was a suicidal aspect. And how I explained to people, I'd never experienced this. In fact, before the IUD and even during most of the IUD, I've been very blessed in that area where it's like, it's 2 or 3 days, I don't get really bitchy, it's not really that big a deal for me, but because I'm anemic, towards the end I can almost pass out. But otherwise, it's kind of a breeze, except for the end of it where I get really weak. But the thing, where was I going? I was going somewhere with that. And actually, if you guys had stayed with me, there were times on I talked about it late at night. It was almost like if there was a button for suicide when I would go through my menstrual cycle, it was being pushed nonstop and there was nothing I can do. And the reason is that copper, it stores in different points of your body, including your brain. And so as it's coming out of my brain, it's gonna have the same effect as somebody who was mentally ill. And it could be because it's fucking up the chemical structure and balance, as well as the electromagnetic frequency, because copper is a conductor of electricity. And so I can very gladly say the last 3 cycles, I've not had an issue. In the last one, it's back to normal. But that was hard because it was like an instinct. Everything in my body said, jump out the window, everything. In an instinct way. And I had to just literally, I had to sit white knuckled on this couch and tell myself, it's a physical thing, this will pass, this will pass, this will pass. But I was emotional over not killing myself. It was very, very strange. And I knew doing all the research, this was just part of it, but I was like, how long is this gonna last? How long is this gonna last? Because this is a very new thing and it only coincided with the menstrual cycles. So, the reason I started YouTube was I wanted to chronicle what was going on, and I also wanted to warn women of the dangers of IUDs. Now, I've since kind of rethought my stance to an extent, because I was also kind of going over the dangers of birth control, period. I'm not anti-birth control. I'm pro-healthy birth control. And I'm also pro know what you're getting into. None of the doctor that I got my IUD from, never warned me on any of this stuff. Now, I think as time's gone on, more doctors will give warnings about this, but I had no warning, therefore I had no idea what was making me so sick. So here I am, and it's been a year since I've had it removed, and I still am not functioning very well. I'm better than what I was. Collapses almost no longer happen, thank God. It's been probably 3 months since I've had a collapse. Now, I can, when it's really bad, I will wake up in the middle of the night. I will wake up, my body will wake me up during as I'm having a collapse. But I'm able to take care of it fairly quickly, where it used to take an hour or 2 when I was out for 2 or 3 days. So when I started this channel, I wanted to talk about it. I realize birth control helps some women. Some women have hormonal issues that it helps, and that is great. But for a lot of women, messing with your hormones when you don't need it is awful, is absolutely awful. And I'm not trying to tell women not get birth control. I am not saying to go be irresponsible. But what I am saying is know your body and know your health and be aware of these things. It's more about the awareness. And I also think these IUDs specifically should be off the fucking market. These specifically, because of the known issues. They've had known issues for years and they were taken off the market and put back on knowingly. And I just don't want anybody to get as needlessly sick as I have. It sucks when I think about how if I'm ever able to get in a position of being better, I'm gonna have to go through, you know, a very intensive like fat camp for myself because I've gained weight from getting sick. That is very, very hard to reconcile with because in our society, it's jammed down our throats. When you gain weight, it's either overeating or not exercising. And that is not true, and specifically not true for women as a result of hormonal issues and illness. People don't talk about that. They don't talk about the flip side that when you're ill, you can gain weight. And many of us in this country walk around with illnesses that we can't afford to take care of, don't even know what it is. So, I filmed collapses when I was on this channel. I documented what I was going through. I had this fantasy that if I got the copper out of my system, I'd go back to normal. Nope. So what I've learned since then is I have fibromyalgia. That is the pain. I can't get insurance, so I don't know everything, but I do know there's fibro. I do know there has been copper toxicity, but I think the copper's mostly out of my system, but I'm still sick. I still get sick. It is getting better. I would say it's inching towards getting better. It is not as severe. Every time I get sick is not as severe now, so I try to convince myself that that means every round of sickness means my body's getting rid of something. After doing more research, again, because I'm having to fucking, I'm Dr. Google over here, because I don't have when you don't have insurance, you don't really have a choice. I've heard more and more stories from people and their accounts, and I think, and this kind of coincides, our immune systems, our bodies tend to, we have all different types of bacteria, viruses, sicknesses in our bodies that our immune system keeps in check and they never come up. Like many of us sit with viruses since birth and nothing happens. But when you become immunocompromised, like I did with my IUD, because I'm almost for certain everything happened as a result of that IUD. I had physical issues literally right after I got the IUD that lasted. I just kind of brushed off and didn't see, because nobody warned me of the side effects. I didn't see the correlation. Shit, where was I going with that? I had a train of thought. Come back, brain. Come back. I don't know where I was going. And I was tying it all together. So I've been Googling, and I think, yeah, I think that I think that I probably had some like viruses or shit in my system that have now activated and that keep coming back and forth. But now that I'm getting better, my immune system's better able to handle it. And I hope at some point my immune system can get rid of whatever is going on. I have faith. I would like to think of the next year I can get better. In the next year, I might shoot up to 200 pounds and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing. I've tried, even as far as, what do you call it, like fiber pills and like Imodium and high power Imodium. It doesn't work. And that tells me my body is desperately trying to get rid of something. And it's happening through excrement, unfortunately. So why am I bringing this up, guys? And I'm sorry this is so long. I'm bringing this up because my little buddy Benji, which I want to give another big shout out to. I know I've been shouting him out a lot recently, but he has been such a kind person to me. I could almost cry because I don't have a lot of really nice people in my life, and I know I don't know him. We'll probably never meet, which is fine, you know, but he has been so, like, genuinely nice to me over the past several weeks of getting to know him. And he lives in Australia, so there are times, like this happened last night, sorry I'm crying, where I was getting really sick, and I just got angry about it. I started getting sick again. A wave of it hit 2 nights ago. I filmed a video I'll probably never put up, and it was me talking about the Anita Sarkeesian thing and being angry at the fake feminists because here we have birth control that's killing our young women and older women, and they don't care. They just care about my hurt feelings. And I was really upset about being sick, and I reached out because Benji's in Australia. I'm like, well, it's 2 a.m. And I think he happened to message me maybe, I can't remember, and I was like, well, he's up, and I just kind of talked to him a little bit, and he's aware of this, and he's just been so nice, and he helps me laugh and refocus stuff. Just a really nice person. So please, if you want somebody with great content, like, I don't know why he doesn't have more subscribers, go subscribe. Where was I going with that? I was really embarrassed recently because, and I knew this was going to be an issue, and that's why I'm now re-talking about this stuff. He's been so nice to me, and And he's always been down to live stream. He's always there to help. And he was going to have one of his first live streams. It wasn't the first, but one of the first. And funny enough, his first live stream, he messaged me needing help setting it up, and I helped him, which is funny because I'm fucking tech retarded, but I had the same issues that he was, so, which I thought was funny. But he did a live stream recently. I'm going to link it. Please go check it out. It's actually a good live stream. He and I had talked, because we've done some video chatting, and we had been talking, and he had this really awesome theory on Onision, and that he thinks Onision blurs the lines between fantasy and reality, which is and he had this really interesting concept, and so we were going to talk about it. So we brought our buddy Cameron, you know, Copper's, Copper Cab's editor and friend of the stream, Cameron, hey boy hey, and love to Copper. Benji brought him on, brought my moderator and good friend Sai That Nerd, and we were all just sitting and talking about it, and 5 minutes within getting into Benji's stream, I started to feel the illness hit, and I thought, uh-oh, and I thought, you know what, that's okay, I can work around this. So what happened was, I was trying to keep a straight face, trying to keep my poker face, and the conversation it became a bit of a heated debate, not in no ill feelings whatsoever, because Cameron and I have disagreed on several key points over time, and there's no hard feeling. We can disagree and we don't give a fuck, you know, we're just sharing how we feel. And he's come up with some decent points. Like, he's come up with decent points that have made me think, and probably I'd hope vice versa, right? That's the conversating. Well, as we were in some heavy disagreement, I was feeling myself start to crash physically and feeling worse and worse, to the point where I realized I can't hide this. I started stuttering a lot. I started losing my point of focus. I started using a lot of filler words because I was losing what I would be thinking because of the fibro fog and the heart issues were starting. And I started to feel like my body was on the verge of doing a collapse, but I hadn't had one in a while. And it was because I was overexerting at a time where I couldn't. And I was like, oh shit. So all of a sudden, my moderators, so my buddy Nathan, hey boy, hey, I love you, Nathan, and Sai both wrote and said, you don't look all right, are you okay? And they know me well enough to know, because, you know, they've gotten to know me over time, where they know when I'm upset or they know when it's sickness, and they could tell I wasn't feeling well. So I was writing them going, I'm not feeling well, but I don't want to bail on Benji's stream, but now I'm worried that it's visible. They're like, you look like you're not okay, it's visible. And I'm like, fuck. And I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to look like that I am upset. That I'm upset because Cameron and I are disagreeing, or that the conversation's getting heated. And I sat there and I went, fuck, I don't know what to do. Because I'm now at the point where I feel like I'm on the verge of having a collapse. I'm not there, but I need to go take care of myself so that doesn't happen. I don't want to bail on Benji's stream because he's been so good to me that number one, I don't want to bail on him. Number two, I don't want to leave because I don't want to make it look like I'm being dramatic, because if I leave right now with how I look, people aren't going to coincide that I'm sick. They're going to coincide and think that I'm upset with the conversation, and I'm not at all. And or if I have to say that I'm sick, the energy, the attention's gonna go back on me, and it's like, you know, and it's gonna be the me show, the fucking joy show, being sick, and I don't want that. And on top of that, this is really embarrassing because I haven't had this episode in a while. So I tried to gracefully bow out, and I thought, okay, maybe it'll blow over, and rumors are starting, and people are talking more and more and more about it and thinking that there's an issue. So I want to just explain to people, even though Sai knew what was going on, my moderator Nathan knew what was going on, I immediately reached out to Benji, who I know is still on stream, and I immediately reached out to Cameron, and I said, hey, and Cameron and Copper are well aware of my health issues. In fact, Copper has been really, really sweet. He's reached out a handful of times and said, I just want to, just let me know that you're doing okay. Copper's been another really, really good friend to me. Thank you, Copper. Of all the people, I never thought Copper Cab and I would be buddies, but he's been really, really nice to me. So where was I going with all this? That's why I'm talking about it, guys. There's no ill will towards anybody. There was no issue. I'm happy to disagree. What you were seeing, if you want to go look for yourself, and it's also an interesting stream, but what you were seeing was having a health crash and trying to hide it to where I couldn't hide it anymore. And it's embarrassing. Being chronically ill comes with a lot of embarrassing things, and this is just one that me and other people go through. And I know a lot of my audience has chronic illness and autoimmune stuff, and to that, I just want to say, you know, I understand where you're coming from. I understand what it's like to, I feel like, you know, this is, speech, come on, speech and brain. I will say this, there's something else that's frustrating, and this is one of the reasons I stopped talking about it, is when people don't believe you, which is what I've had happen to me. One of the reasons I stopped talking about it is, it's hard enough emotionally to go through this and not have a life. It's hard enough. It's emotionally, when I get sick, it becomes very emotional because it's been so long. It's hard enough to go through it, but then to have people like kick you when you're down, kick you in the face, throw dirt on you, laugh at you, and call you a liar and say you're scamming or you're lying as you're going through it, it almost feels impossible emotionally to deal with, and the stress of it is too much. I'm a pretty tough little bird. I'm a strong little bitch to where I can deal with a lot of things because I've been through a lot of different odd things, both good and bad, but the lack of kindness and compassion and humanity, and it's not that people can't question, but to watch somebody suffer and make fun of them, I will never understand that. But at the same time, I also get it because what I learned, which I didn't know, is apparently there are a lot of people who've been on YouTube who've claimed illness and gotten sympathy or gotten money or donations who haven't. And I can sit here and tell you right now, I have never taken a donation as a result of being sick. And I've had people offer crazy things, you know, and I won't. I did, however, take one friend, but it's a friend in real life, up on a possible free doctor, but I was gonna need additional testing anyway. So it wasn't going to work out for what I needed. Great friend. But otherwise, in terms of the internet, I will not take stuff. Now, I have a Patreon. If you want to go to my Patreon, you can. That it does help, but I don't even put my Patreon in the description. I rarely talk about it because I've been back and forth on even the concept of it. I've had people want to, and don't start a GoFundMe. Please don't do any of that, guys, because when you don't have insurance, let's just say you guys raised a couple $1,000 for me, which would be really nice. That could be one test. One test. That's the American medical system, and it would be literally throwing money into a hole, a tiny drop in a huge bucket. So that's where it's at. I will talk about the insurance thing here soon. I haven't been ready to. I did film a video talking about it about a month ago, crying, and I just wasn't ready to put it up. That's it. That's why I haven't been talking about it. But I will say it is getting better. Whatever it is getting better, but it still affects me. So please don't think that, please, nobody did anything wrong. Benji didn't do anything wrong. Cameron did anything wrong. Nobody did anything wrong with the conversation. Nobody upset me. This was just my body. Now, one big discrepancy people say is you upload a lot. How can you be sick and upload a lot? Because number one, as I'm slowly getting better, I can do a little more. But number two, I'm subject to being in my own house. If you guys notice, in the beginning videos, I used to be in the room that's behind here and I would stand up with a wall. Well, I don't have the energy to do that anymore. So it's easier just to be in the living room and I can sit and talk. I'm good at talking. Talking is no issue for me. I just put a camera on and talk, and I'm fine. And then uploading, especially when there's very little editing, a lot of my videos lately don't have much editing, that's easy. That's easy for me to do. But other things are hard. Having to walk to my car, to have the energy to go down the stairs, to walk outside to my car, then my body has to deal with the change in temperature, come and walk back up can be hard. Having to drive right now, very, very difficult. If I can, and driving is a lot of anxiety because I'm scared what if there's a collapse, which gives me anxiety, which can put my body in a bad compromised state. So it's just kind of a cycle. But I wanted just to kind of tell you guys what's going on, and also I wanted to encourage a couple things. There are two people who've been incredibly nice to me. I call them my sunshines. Mike and Actor is one. Please go subscribe to Mike and Actor. Mike and Actor has some amazing content. He's another one where he's nearing the 10,000 subscriber mark, but it's like you should be at 100. He's so fucking good, and he's one of those people that he's genuinely such a good person. And he has been one person, he knew me in my first week on being on YouTube. He reached out, he gave me one of my first shout outs, and he, in all his kindness, he has never done me wrong. Never done me wrong. And the other one, as you guys know, please go subscribe to Benji. I'm actually, and Benji gave me permission, even if he didn't, I might do it against his will and tell him to fuck off. I'm gonna be mirroring some of his videos. His work is so fucking good. He is so good, and I don't know how he hasn't gotten further on this platform, and he's a doll. You know, I don't just look for people with good content, I look for people who are good, genuine, decent people. And that's what he has been to me. So, Benji, if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you for being kind to me, and you have all the love and support from my channel and from us. Please, I encourage you guys, go subscribe to Benji. You will not regret it. So, okay, I hope I got that cleared out of the way. I'm gonna go. This has been way too long. A fucking 30-minute vlog. Guys, continue to be blessed to yourselves and blessed to others. Continue to try to find the joy and the sparkles of the bullshit in the world. I love you guys. I will see everybody soon. Everybody take care, much love, blessings, and if you are going through chronic illness, remember, this is what I will give you the advice that I try to tell myself. Maybe I'm a hypocrite, come on, mouth. Maybe I'm a hypocrite because I can't always take it, but I tell myself that there is a reason that we are sick. There's a reason we're going through what we're going through. And if we are just open to whatever the reason is, because I do believe the majority of sickness stems from something emotional within ourselves, and from there we attract illness. That's what I believe. You don't have to believe it. But I believe that if we can just stay humble, stay open, stay in a state of faith. I don't mean religion. I mean faith is the knowing that, having that knowing that everything will work out the way that it needs to, even if it's not the way we want. That's how I see faith. Having the faith that everything will work out for our best and highest good if we just set our intentions, and having the, what would you call it? I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time with words and brain fog. I set my intention, and I try to have the humility and stay open and say, the right thing will come. I will learn what's going on at the right. Sorry, my card fucked up. Sometimes it just says stop recording. That I try to keep myself open to the humility that my body will be better when the time is right. Or if I need to figure out what's going on, pieces to the puzzle, because this is all still a mystery. You know, I know there was copper toxicity. I know there's fibromyalgia. I know there's damage from that, and I know I'm slowly getting better. I know a fever means your body's fighting something. So I just try to stay open, and I tell myself that when my body is ready to get better, it will, and when the timing is right, when the best and highest timing for myself of figuring things out, that I will. And hey, maybe part of why I'm going through this is so that I can share my experience. You know, I think one of the best things that I have gone through is that, and this is where I get really emotional, is knowing that I'm not alone. And I've made a lot of friends who've gone through this. Knowing that I'm not alone, and knowing that you have people out there that understand and care about you. And coming from my situation with not having much of a family who cares, it's hard because I don't have that core base. I have a roommate who is the only family I have who is amazing, and I have some great friends around the country and the world who just can't help. And I've made some amazing, amazing friends online. All of my moderators have become great friends. They were friends before, you know, they modded. I've had, you know, there's Aaron Brownage. I love Aaron. I love Cy. I love Nathan. Mike's been good to me. Benji's been good to me. So many good people. I've just made a lot of friends through this, and people who have supported me and checked up on me. Copper, Cameron, and I just want to say thank you to all of you. So that's it. And yeah, so now there's the mystery of why I have the same 3 sweatshirts. I can't fit in anything else right now. That's very humbling to have to admit, and it's hard to admit. But also, let's remember, if you are having issues from your weight as a result of physical illness, you are not your body. We're just, these meat sacks are just temporary vehicles. They're all going to shrivel up and die at some point. I am not my body, and being on YouTube and being sick and doing this while I've gained weight has really, really helped me with my confidence in that I am not my body. I am more than just being thin and how I look to people. That I am a person with feelings and emotions and thoughts and wisdom to share with people, and somebody who is happy to have people share theirs. And that is valuable, and that makes you valuable and loved and special and important, and you exist for a reason, even if you are suffering. So, okay guys, that's all I want to say. I love you. I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Sorry this was long. I did not intend to put this up today. I didn't intend to put this up at all, but I just wanted people to be aware. So, okay, I'm gonna go. Goodbye, guys.